Hello students, today we are going to cover an important chapter of class 7th science, which is physical and chemical changes. Now before starting the chapter, let me introduce myself a little bit. So I am Raghav Daksh, currently pursuing History Honours from University of Delhi College of Vocational Studies. Now let's start our chapter. First, we need to understand what is a change. So, a change means something becomes different in some way. It can be in shape, or change in size, change in color, state, or substance. Some changes are easy to undo, means they are easy to reversible. They are easy to reverse, and some are permanent. Okay. Now, there are two main types of changes: physical change and chemical change. Now, in physical change, no new substance is formed, but in chemical change, a new substance is formed. Let's understand it one by one. So, what is a physical change? A physical change is a change where no new substance is formed. Only the form, shape, state, or appearance changes. You can see a girl here is holding a rubber band. Now she's stretching it. This is a physical change because we can see it physically that it has changed its shape. But if she leaves it there like that, the rubber band will take its original shape, so it can be reversed, so it is reversible, so it is a physical change. Now the original material remains chemically the same. Now it has not changed chemically because it was just stretched, the material is same. The features of physical change: no new substance is formed, which means the material stays the same inside. It is reversible, can usually get back to the original form. No big energy change, involves heating, cooling, etc. Now, no big energy is involved in the process, such as chemical process, for example, photosynthesis. Now, this is a complex process where plant make their food through sunlight and water. Now, this is a complex process, but in a physical change, it involves very, no big changes are involved, only small changes are there, such as heating, cooling, etc. Now, some of the common physical changes are melting of ice, boiling water, freezing water, dissolving sugar, stretching rubber. Now, all these are physical changes because they are reversible in nature. If we melt the ice will take the liquid form, but it can be changed or it can be reversed into in its ice form by freezing it. Okay. Similarly, the boiling of water, freezing water, or dissolving sugar. How? If because if we dissolve the sugar into the water and we boil the water will come up in the form of steam, and the sugar will it will leave the sugar behind. Stretching of rubber similarly. So these all are the physical changes. These changes don't affect what the substance is made of. Now, what is a chemical change? A chemical change is a change where a new substance is formed. It usually cannot be reversed easily. The new substance has different properties than before. Now, here we have seen that in physical change, it was more of a physical in nature. We were able to see that the shape was changed. But in chemical change, we can see that a whole new substance is formed. So it was a chemical process, it was a complex process. It cannot be reversed easily, and the new substance has different properties than before. Now, here are some of the features of chemical change. A new substance is formed, product is chemically different. It is usually irreversible, so we cannot go back to the original form easily. Energy is involved, it may give out heat, light, gas, or sound. Some of the signs that by them we can identify that it is a chemical change are color change, formation of bubbles, and a different smell or foul smell. Now, here are some of the examples of chemical changes, such as rusting of iron. Now, iron, when left in open air, it reacts with the air and water to form a rust, which is a new substance. Here you can see the picture. So here the iron was left in the open air, and it reacted with water and air and formed rust over it. So this is a new substance. So it is a chemical change. Reaction of vinegar and baking soda. So what happens is when you put baking soda into the vinegar, it produces bubbles. Now these bubbles are of carbon dioxide gas. They produce CO2 gas. So this is a chemical change. Spoiling of food. Now, bad produces bad smell and new harmful substances. So if the food is left for days, the bacteria will form and they will react with the food and they will produce a bad and foul smell and new harmful substances. So this is also a chemical change. Now, chemical changes are irreversible and often involve energy. Let's see the difference between physical and chemical change. Now let's understand this with two examples. When you melt a chocolate, it becomes liquid, but it's still a chocolate. This is a physical change. We can reverse it. We can freeze the chocolate again and turn it into a solid form. Meanwhile, in a chemical change, for example, when you cook an egg, now egg is a liquid form. It becomes solid and tastes different by cooking it, or you can boil it or make an omelette with it. So it will turn into a different substance. This is a chemical change because it's a new substance. New substance is formed and you cannot get the raw egg back. It is irreversible. So it is a chemical change. Now, rusting of iron. Now, rusting is a slow chemical change where iron reacts with oxygen and water to form a new substance called rust, which is known as iron oxide. Okay, so when iron reacts with oxygen or air and water, when it is left outside, it forms a new substance over it, which is known as rust or iron oxide. Now, if we see the chemical formula or scientific terms, we can see that iron is known as Fe when it reacts with oxygen, which is O2, and water, which is H2O. It will form rust, and formula of rust and the formula of rust is Fe2O3. Now, how do we prevent the iron from rusting? So you need to apply paint or grease to the iron surfaces. Use galvanization. Now galvanization is the process where zinc is coated over the iron. So it protects it from reacting with directly with the air and water. Keeps iron away from water and air so it won't react with both of them and will not form rust over it. Let's see the crystallization process. Now, crystallization is a way to get pure solid crystals from a solution. Think of it like this. If you mix something like copper sulfate, now this is a copper sulfate powder. It's a blue powder. If you put it into a hot water, it dissolves. And if you let that water cool down slowly, now shiny blue crystals start forming like this. So this process is known as crystallization. These crystals are pure and clear. This is basically a chemical change where totally the substance is changing and it's forming the powder is forming crystals when mixed with a solution. Now, what is the importance of chemical changes? Chemical changes helps in digestion of food. So the food we eat reacts with different, acids in our stomach, and they form enzymes. That's why we get our energy, and it work as a fuel for our body. So digestion of food is also a chemical process. Formation of curd is also a chemical process. Ripening of fruits is also a chemical process. Making medicines, photosynthesis, burning of fuels. Photosynthesis when a plant takes sunlight and water and it helps in creating their food, and so that they can grow and produce fruits, vegetables that we humans use. So that's how the chemical changes are important for our own life. All new materials and substances in our world are possible because of chemical changes. Okay, so yeah, this was all about this chapter. I hope you understood everything. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you.